good afternoon. This is Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. I'm hopping on here just a little bit early this afternoon to do my 12 days of Christmas. I still have about 2 minutes until it's 3:30, and I can't believe it, but I'm actually straight. I don't even have to play with the phone or play with the stand or anything today. So it must be going to be a great day. I've enjoyed bringing these Christmas cards to you, and I wanted to let you know that I have a channel on YouTube called Nana's Stampin' Room, and that's where I put all my videos from Facebook into YouTube because Facebook changed their rules about live video or any videos. They're only going to keep them for 30 days. So if you've missed any past videos that you want to go back and look at, or if you've maybe missed a couple of the Christmas days and you want to go back and look, you can check it out at Nana's Stamping Room on YouTube. So now I got about 30 seconds left, it shows, until it's 3:30. I just love this card today because it's just so bright and shiny. It just really reminds me of Christmas and everything. And it really is pretty easy to put together. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking out all the things I have here in my packet. This is for the envelope. And here's some ribbon that I'm going to need. And here is this piece. We're going to cut this piece when we get started. And here is the glimmer paper, the silver glimmer paper. And I cut the layer behind the tag with the glimmer paper. This is part of the card front, and I use the greenery embossing folder with it. It just has some of, what do you call those, the branches off a Christmas tree here, and then Old Olive, and this is Secret Sea. I love Secret Sea. So let's go ahead and get started. I have my bone folder here, and the first thing I always like to do is to crease my card. And we can put that up here until we're ready for it. Then we're just going to start gluing some things together so that we can get the card put together quickly. So I also need a inside. This is how sometimes when I'm just watching TV or something here in the stamping room, I cut out card fronts and then I fill up my little baggie here with them. I'm getting low after all the cards I've made for Christmas. So this is an inside, and we can't glue this yet because we have to cut that one piece first. And now I'm trying to find my oval here for my words. I thought I looked through this last night and everything was in here. So now I'm going to have to go back and look for my oval. I'm pretty sure that I cut this out using the traditional labels die, so let me find those. They're right here on top. Or it might have been, I don't know. It might have been the Stylish Shapes. But we shall find it so that I can cut out that oval piece. So I'm thinking that maybe this was it. And it was. Oh, okay. So that wasn't too hard. I was thinking I used this die because I used the traditional labels for the Merry and Bright. So let me hurry and cut a label for myself. There we go. Let me put this away so that I don't lose it. We'll put this over there. So first we're going to stamp anything we need to stamp, and then we'll glue. So we need to stamp the Merry and Bright on there. And I already have it set up. It's 2 separate stamps, but I put them together on this block. You could stamp them individually if you wanted to. So we're going to get Merry and Bright right here in the middle. There we go. And then we're also going to get for the inside, which I have to remember to put my inside going this way instead of up and down, which happens sometimes, and then I have to redo the inside. And we're going to put, it's the most wonderful time of the year on the inside. Get this straight. There we go. So now we're ready to glue the parts that we can glue. We are going to flip this over, flip this over. This doesn't need to be flipped over. First of all, we need to glue this piece at the bottom. So we'll leave this like this. So let's get started. If you're here and you'd like to comment, that would be great, even if you're watching the replay, because I will go back and check them out when I get notified that there's new comments. I made this just to be a little bit longer than what I needed, just so that I was for sure to go to the very edge of the paper. So now we can turn this one over. Now I think we're ready. Let me get this piece out here. All right, we're gonna put glue here. I've been loving making these Christmas cards, but now I've gotten some stuff from the new January catalog and from the online exclusives that are going to release in January. So now I can't wait to start playing with them. But I want to finish my 12 Days of Christmas first. The last 2 cards are going to use the Gingerbread Man stamp set and dies. So you can be looking forward to that Saturday and Sunday. And I'm going to get my card base back out here. First I'm going to add the Old Olive. Just if I get these pieces glued down, I don't have so many laying out here on my mat. And then the Real Red embossed piece will go on top of that. And this is the inside piece. Yesterday when I made my card, I made the whole card and then went to put the inside in and it was upside down. So I had to carefully remove the card front and put it on a new card base. Because of course I tore some of the card base when I was taking it off. So here we go with the inside. So now we can set that aside. And we have this, I'm going to use tear and tape on the back of my tag just because it's going to go onto this glimmer paper and I want to be sure that it really sticks to it. And now I'm looking for my tear and tape, which is underneath my dimensionals here. I love the tear and tape. So much nicer than when we used to have the red tape that forever would always have too much static electricity, and even after you got it off, it was hard to get it off your fingers because of the static. This is just so much easier. use my Pick-a tool. Well, now I said that, now I have static with the white paper that's coming off here, but it's winter, and so I get a lot of static in the house. And we're going to center this in the middle of our label here. Needs to go over just a little. There we go. You know, but I didn't see also when I was taking this out of here were the gems. And I know that they were in here yesterday because I was checking to see if I needed anything else. And I had the 3, look, there it is. There are the 3 little embellishments, but I stood up, and the label. So now I have an extra label. I should have looked better in the envelope when I looked earlier. Okay, so we're going to lay this up here. Now we're going to take this piece, which measures 4 by 3. And we're going to get our cutter. Now, you want to remember the order when you cut this so that you can put it back down in the correct order so that it all matches. So we're going to cut this out. We're just going to cut this at 1. We're just going to keep cutting at 1 until we get 4 pieces. Okay, and then what I realized is that I wanted, when I charted this length, or this width, I really wasn't seeing enough, let me get this out here. I really wasn't seeing enough glimmer between the pictures, between the strips of paper. So I had already cut my strips. So what I did was I went over and off the last one, I cut off a 16th. And off the first one, I cut off 16ths. 1/16. Just enough to give myself a little bit more glimmer in between them both. And you really can't tell that much that they're 16-inch less width on number 1 and number 4. So I'm going to pick these up like this so I can keep the order. And I'm going to lay them out here. And I am going to use tearing tape instead of glue to put on the front of this glimmer paper here. And I don't want to go all the way from the top to the bottom. I just kind of want to go in the middle a little bit because they're not glued down at the bottom. So I'm just going to... Now you could use glue. It will work. It just takes a little bit longer for it to dry. But if you do use glue, you have a little bit more time to rearrange them than I do when I'm going to use the tearing tape. So we'll cross our fingers that I can get them centered the first try. I knew I saw the start there somewhere. Whoops. Okay, now before I take off that tape, I want to be sure that I have them laid out here correctly. So I'm going to go try to match them up to make the same picture. See, this one will go here. This one will go here. And this one will go here. So that works. We're going to take the first one and we're going to take off the back. Oh, I left the door shut to the stamping room so my dog hears the school bus. And I'm going to use my glass mat here, the grid on my glass mat, to put this first one on. Even with this line down here and with that line up there. So that it'll be easier to get my other ones the same height. So now I'm going to put on my last one. Except for my last one looks really crooked, doesn't it? Let me put it in here for a second. It looks really crooked. Okay, that's better. I'm going to take the tape off. And I'm going to line the bottom piece up with this dotted line down here. Okay, and that's a little bit crooked. I'm having troubles today being straight. Besides that, I got my picture on the camera straight with the first try. So I'm going to have to pick it up like this so I could just... No, I don't have it down far enough. This certainly did go smoother the first time I did it. Okay. Then we're going to have this one and this one. Okay, there we go. So now we have them pretty much evenly layered out there. This one looks like it's a little bit shorter. There we go. Now we can glue this down to our card base so that we don't lose it. Now, if you were using a picture that had a definite up and down directional to it, you'd have to be sure you got this on the right way. But this paper, the flowers go every which way, so you do not have to worry about the direction of it. So next we're going to take our label, our greeting label, if we can find it. Here it is. It's laying right there in front of my face, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to put some tear tape on the back of that. And we're going to use this real red ribbon. Now, this real red ribbon is shiny on one side and kind of dull on the other. So we want the shiny side to show. So we're going to put it like this, and then we're going to put it about, we are going to put it like this, get it hooked to the tape, take it up and kind of twist it a little bit so you can see both sides are the shiny ribbon. And then, oh, I don't know if I'm going to have enough to come down here and have this show. I am, just enough to show as the tail. So I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape across the back of it just to hold it down there. There we go. And we're going to pop this up with dimensionals. This is a pretty quick card also. You know what I did? I have to take this back up because I have the shiny side of the ribbon showing here instead of the dull side. I mean, the dull side should be showing. So let me see if I can flip this. Back here. There we go. I forgot to watch out for that. Most times ribbon is the same color, basically the same color on the other side, but this is different. And we want to be sure that this doesn't... I have this little bitty of the tear and tape showing, but I do not want it to be sticky so my card sticks to something else. I'm just going to kind of trim that away. Then we have our dimensionals on here. We're going to put this right in the middle here. A little crooked. It's not, I didn't quite get it in the middle. It's very hard to get something to really stick really good to the glimmer paper. All right, now where could we put some Wink of Stella? Where is my Wink of Stella? I have another one here. I have 3 Wink of Stellas. One of them is getting very low, and so here's my good one. And I'm just going to add some sparkle to this red background in the back, which I probably could. I always forget to do my Wink of Stella to the end because it would have been much easier to do this red when it wasn't all glued down. But we'll get some Wink of Stella in there. There we go. Oh yeah, that adds just a little glimmer in the background. Now we have these 3 silver festive pearls. And we're going to get the putty part of the sticker tool and add these to the card. I like to add them on the red part because they're not really going to show up too well on any of the glimmer. Oh, I got that one too high. I can push it down a little bit with this side. There we go. Now, if we wanted to, I'm seeing I have these little pieces laying back here that I cut too many for different cards, so I have these red ones. And so what I think I might do is take one of these red sequins and put a red sequin right here on my Merry and Bright. And then I will have to put another red sequin so I can have an odd number. Although 3 of one kind and 1 of another is kind of an odd number. I'll move this up just a little. And then I'm going to add another one over here on this side. Now that I've got it stuck to the glass mat. There we go. That looks cute. And I now, in order not just to waste this or lose it, I'm going to put this one just going to have one right there. Then we already have the inside finished. The only thing we have left to do is to glue on the mat to the envelope. Which only takes a few seconds here. Oh, one of the sets I got from the new catalog that's coming out in January is one called Sweet as a Bug. And it is so cute with little worms and ants and bees. And they're all like different colors and doing different things. Actually, it's not a worm, it's a caterpillar, I should say. A worm doesn't sound very exciting, but it's like a purple caterpillar or a green caterpillar. Then I'm going to trim this. And there we go. We got the envelope ready. We got the card ready. And we are ready to sign it and send it out. I hope you have a great afternoon, the rest of your afternoon. And don't forget, tomorrow I will be on to show you day 11. And then Sunday will be day 12. And we'll be finished with the 12 days of Christmas cards. And I hope that you've enjoyed this series. I've enjoyed making the cards to show you. Bye.